The cost of living is a struggle, whether it's hitting your regular mortgage repayments or the eye-watering cost of your weekly food shop. If you want to weather the storm of the cost of living crisis, live below your means, save more money, and make great progress towards your goals in 2025, then I've got 5 brilliant practical tips for you. Hi, I'm Vicky. I have been juggling working for myself from home while parenting my 2 young children for the last 6 years. I'm a personal finance writer, and on this channel I talk all about the money saving and money making tips that have worked for me. Please don't forget to hit subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I would love to have you join our community here. My first tip is the secret to successful saving. And this secret is a really simple one, but so many people struggle to do it. If you are someone who has always struggled to save money regularly, then you really need to hear this one. Every single month you're going to take £20 or $20 and you're going to put it into a savings account with a decent rate of interest. Now this sounds really simple and easy, but it's actually not, particularly if you have struggled with saving and budgeting in the past. If you're looking to get started with untangling your finances and having better control of your money, this is the place to start. Regular saving when you're just getting started is, quite frankly, boring. It requires willpower and a sense of the bigger picture. If you are someone who struggles to save regularly, if you're someone who often saves whatever's left at the end of the month rather than starting off with saving, then this tip is really going to work for you. Telling yourself and committing to this small monthly amount. And actually for some people it might even help to make it a weekly amount. A lot of the savings accounts that you can get, they come with an app, and oftentimes you can set a weekly amount that you want to go into that savings account. Even if it's only £10 a week, or even if it's only £20 a month. And if you can then build your savings up to say 10% or even better 20% of your monthly income, then you will have made savings a habit rather than an afterthought. The progress of building up a savings pot, even when you're only setting aside a tiny amount every single month, should be so rewarding that you'll want to keep going with it. I have personally found that once you get to milestones, like your first £1,000 or $1,000, then your next £5,000 and then £10,000, that really helps you to focus your mind on, wow, this actually works. How can I do even better next month? How can I improve on this? And then you're building wealth, and that unlocks doors. The key ones being less stress and getting to choose what you do with your money. My next tip is to review your goals. The time to get started with reviewing your goals from the last year or setting some goals for 2025 is right now. The sooner, the better. However, if you're watching this a few months after this video has been posted, it is never too late. Just get started, just get doing it. Think about what are the bigger picture things that you want your money to do for you. That money is there for you to control and use to better your own life. If you feel like money just flows out of your account every single month without you really noticing, it can really help to start with what you actually want your money to do for you, considering money as a tool in your life. So write down what your goals are. It might be something super specific and big, like moving to your next house. It could be an amazing family holiday. We've actually got one planned for next year. So when I've been reviewing my savings goals, my big focus has been on that holiday next year and making sure that I'm setting aside regular amounts of money every single month so that I can afford that without any stress. Or it could also be an emergency fund so that you've got that financial safety net. A lot of people pick January as the time to have a big budget overhaul because there's a lot of stuff in the media about new year, new you, and there's just a real kind of momentum in the air about changing things and shaking things up and making commitments and resolutions. And do you know what? That's great. If that gives you sort of motivation, then brilliant. But don't assume that it has to be January. Like, start right now. There's no rules about when you have to start with taking control of your finances, or just reviewing what you're doing already to see if it's really working out best for you, if there's any changes that you can make. Big goals can feel really daunting, but that's why we break them down into smaller achievable steps and focus on those. You won't save 10k in a month, but you could save 10k in a year by figuring out that you need to set aside £833 a month in order to do that. It's quite a large amount, yes, but if you make a plan for doing it, figuring out how it's going to fit in your budget, what sacrifices you're going to make, then it becomes achievable. Write down all of your outgoings and see where you can trim the fat. I know times are really tough and so many of you have already trimmed your outgoings down right to the bone. However, as someone said in my comments the other week, it's not necessarily about what you earn, it's about what you keep. When you focus in on big goals, it can really help you to find the motivation to make changes to your daily spending. It's so much easier to resist an impulse purchase when you have that bigger goal in your mind. And if you're sort of struggling to find that motivation, sometimes it can really help to be able to visualize it every single day. So consider getting a picture of your dream holiday destination and sticking it on the fridge. Or maybe getting a grid, dividing it up into 100 squares, and then colouring in one square on that grid every time you get a little step closer to your goals. Put that on the fridge, and then you can see your progress every single day when you go to the fridge, and that should give you a little bit of extra motivation. Moving on now to the next thing, which is to avoid subscription creep. Have you guys noticed that so many things that you buy now come with a monthly spending commitment? Like, you buy the thing, but in order to actually use the thing, you have to pay like $10.99 a month. You get it with music streaming, beauty brands, accessing audio and ebooks, storage for your Apple devices, and of course, entertainment streaming subscription services as well. Having a proper, thorough review of your subscription services could save you as little as a tenner a month, or as much as £100 a month. Write down all of your current monthly subscription commitments and ask yourself these two really crucial questions. First of all, do you need it? Are you using it enough to justify the price? And second of all, could you get the same thing for less money? With our TV subscriptions, we like to rotate through them every other month so that we can pick up new TV shows as they come out. So at the moment, I'm going to be taking out a Paramount Plus subscription soon because there's a new season of Yellowstone that we would like to watch. So we'll be cancelling one of our other subscription services in order to pick that up. You might find in some cases that taking out a different subscription to the one that you've been using might come with a reduced price for brand new users, so you could take advantage of that discounted price. Next, start with a low or no buy month. If your saving goals are really lofty, then it can really help to kickstart them off with a low or no buy month in 2025. Now, a lot of people do this in January because obviously you've just come out of Christmas when you've probably spent a little bit more money than you usually do, but it can be any month. Just pick one that's going to work for you. A no buy month is where you only buy essentials. Anything non-essential is a banned purchase. So groceries are fine, takeaways are not. New school shoes are fine. Another pair of trainers when you already have 5 are not. Now, people who struggle with having no fun money at all could consider a low buy month. And this is where you only cut out certain categories of non-essential spending and you allow yourself to spend in some non-essential categories, or you have a really low fun money budget. You might want to focus your low buy month challenge on particular categories like clothes, regular coffees as a takeout, buying smoothies when you're out and about, buying snacks when you're out and about. Maybe sit down and write a list of the things that you're going to commit to not buying for an entire month. And then if it all goes really well, consider extending the challenge beyond a month. Some people do it for a full year. When your savings goals are really ambitious, this can really help you along the way. And I also think it leads to a bit of a mindset shift. When you suddenly kind of realize that when you've gone without quite a few things that you're used to getting all the time, when you're sort of spending without really thinking about it, you realize actually you were fine without them. I mean, we cut way back on the number of takeaways that we were having a few years ago, and I just don't really miss it that much. I mean, yeah, it would be convenient to have more takeaways in the week, but we've made it routine and habit now that we cook way more than we get takeaways, and we might get a takeaway once a month or even less. And then that way also it feels like a real treat when we do it. It can just really help you to realize how much of a toll mindless spending can have on your budget and help you to make more intentional spending choices in the future. In order to give yourself a better shot at succeeding in a no or low buy month, it can really help to identify your triggers and take steps to avoid them. For me, one of my biggest triggers is influencers and just seeing people wearing new clothes or getting new things for the house. I can find that really tempting and really difficult to sort of resist. Focus back on those goals that you've set for yourself and remind yourself what's important to you. Much better than trying to keep up with people whose life goals don't necessarily align with your own. My final tip is to decide on what you're going to need in 2025. Take some time to think about what you are going to need to spend money on in 2025, the expenses that are going to be unavoidable. I know it's kind of exhausting, but actually the time to just start thinking about next Christmas is actually right now. For me, I have a slight concern about our washing machine. We've had it for over 10 years now, and we use it almost every day. And I'm just getting a sense that it's kind of starting to get a little bit knackered. It's maybe got another year or two in it, but in the back of my mind, I've got this thought that I might need to find £300 at some point in order to replace that washing machine. I love our washing machine. It's the hardest working member of our family, but eventually it's going to want to retire. I'm also very aware that our boiler is getting on a little bit and we might need to replace that at some stage. Other predictable expenses include birthdays, Christmases, holidays that you've got planned, and particular expenses that might be coming up for your kids' school. For example, if they're in year 6 of school, they will every single year have some kind of residential trip that is gonna cost you a lot more than your average school trip. So consider the stuff that you will have to buy, as well as the things that you'd like to be able to afford this year. For example, if someone has a very special birthday coming up, do you want to try and allocate a little bit of extra money to buy extra presents or have a bigger party for that birthday? And then you want to make a plan for how you're going to afford these. And this is where setting up something known as a sinking fund can really, really help you. It's separate to an emergency fund because this is for expected costs. You want to put it into a place that's easily accessible, preferably with some kind of rate of interest. And the aim here is to spread the cost of these expected expenses across the course of the year, rather than having them come at you in a particular month and draining your bank account in that one month, maybe even tipping you into debt. That's what we're trying to avoid. So you'll be less likely to overspend and face stress in particular months where your budget is coming under greater pressure. Thanks so much for sticking with me all the way to the end. Thank you for watching this video. Please tell me, what are you doing to get ready financially for 2025? Are you making plans? Are there particular things that you want to pay for? I've got my holiday next year, the family holiday that I really want to pay for without any stress. What is it that you're planning for in 2025? How are you going to meet your financial goals? I would love to know. Thanks so much for watching, guys. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up and to subscribe for more videos from me. Bye.